Hey DYF community, my name is Whitney and today I'm going on a hike. I want to show you some of the nature that surrounds camp and I want to tell you a little bit about the cycle of water.
In order to understand the full cycle, let's rewind a few months. In the High Sierra and at Bearskin, the winter months bring many feet of snow. Camp becomes silent as the animals either hibernate or relocate to a more hospitable place. Only Bruno, Chip, and Quasimodo stay at camp, and even they hibernate as they get covered by a thick blanket of snow. All this Sierra snow becomes California's largest and most important water storage.
Oh my gosh, it snows so much.
As the temperatures begin to rise in the High Sierra, the snow begins to drip and drip, and then it forms into these small creeks that run and drain off into the lower elevations, as you can see here.
Melting Sierra snow provides between 1/3 and 1/2 of California's entire water supply, depending on the year.
As you can see, all of this snow, all of this water has to go somewhere. And gravity takes it downstream. So it flows down, and as it flows down, it forms into bigger and bigger rivers, going down into the valley and through the delta and eventually out into the ocean. Little pools of water that collect, like this one in the springtime, they won't be here come August. So right now, all of the trees and the plants around here have to suck up as much of this water as they can so they can survive the dry months that are coming up here. All the little creeks are flowing somewhere right now. They're all coming to a place where there's going to be a lot of water. We're gonna find it. Can you hear it? The frogs are loving this little pool back here. The sun is out. They are so happy right now. You know what else this is? A mosquito breeding territory. And luckily, it's not quite the time of year yet for them to start breeding, or else we'd be swarmed. Well, we made it. This is the place where all those little rivers have been draining into, in this river canyon here. Isn't it beautiful? Wow. This is raw power. The kind of power that can cut through stone and carve canyons. This is what is still happening in our very own Kings Canyon and many other canyons very similar to it.
Do you recognize this very full creek?
We're going to take a look at the map. So just to orient you, this dark line is 10 Mile Road, and right here it meets our Bearskin Meadow Road. So if we follow that, we come to Bearskin Meadow. We can see the pool. All these little dots are decks or other structures.
This white area is the field, and here's the water tower, WT. Now, as you can see, Bearskin is surrounded by water. These blue lines mean that there's water. So if we follow this line, this is Bearskin Creek. We follow it all the way to its origin. It starts right here at a spring. Now, a spring just means that it's where the aquifer meets the Earth's surface, and so the water is just pouring out of the mountain here. And it's flowing down. It flows about 2 to 3 miles before it enters camp. Now, right here, this is Upper Potts. And as we get closer to camp, you can see where the creek goes behind the field right here. And it's behind the parking lot right here. We move over, and this is archery. And then we get to this spot where Bearskin Creek meets another creek. And I wonder if anybody knows what this spot is called. Well, if you don't, I'll tell you. This is Junction. So Junction is the place where Bearskin Creek meets up with this other creek, which is called 10 Mile Creek. Now, 10 Mile Creek is bigger, so when Bearskin Creek meets it, it becomes 10 Mile Creek, and Bearskin Creek is no more. So as we flow into 10 Mile Creek, right about here is Lower Potts, and we keep following the river. It goes right beneath Cathedral Dome. This is Cathedral Dome. So we follow the river, and eventually the river leads right into Hume Lake. So all of the water that's entering Hume Lake right here has been past Bearskin. Now, Hume Lake is a great place for milkshakes, but make sure you have enough insulin if you're going to go next year, of course.
10 Mile Creek then flows out the Hume Lake Dam to meet up with the Kings River, coming out of Kings Canyon. The Kings River flows towards Fresno, and the majority of the water is diverted to aqueducts, where it supplies cities and towns like your own with drinking water. The Kings River itself just dries up in the valley near Tulare. In the fall or even late summer, Upper Potts may not flow at all anymore, or else it's just a small trickle. It's important to know where our resources come from and to appreciate all the water that we use in our lives, and know that maybe at one point it came from camp.